the host of the Gridiron.
All right, welcome to the Gridiron. If you can give this video a thumbs up or maybe share this video, that would be absolutely freaking phenomenal. If you subscribe to the channel, thank you. If not, please go down below, hit that bell icon, hit that subscribe button, hit everything, just hit everything down there. Anyway, next time I go live or if I put a video out, you'll be notified. And it's free of charge, totally free of charge. What do you got to lose? But if you are subscribed to my channel, thank you. If you want to help support my channel, description box below, very top link takes you to my membership page. I got 3 different membership levels. Each one has their own little perks to them. So if you want to help support my channel out, it would mean so much to me. I thank you in advance once again. Thank you. And then finally, just underneath that, somewhere down in that description box again, there's another link takes you to my Facebook group. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. It's my Facebook group. We have over 9,700 members. It is doing simply marvelous, might I add. Basically, if I'm alive and breathing and if I got internet access, I'm putting stuff in this group darn near 365. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. It's my Facebook group. Please join it. You will not be dissatisfied. I promise. Well, that is always that time of the, the year, right? You got the 5 weeks or so off. Well, it's kind of like about 4 for the rookies, right? And then a week later, everybody else joins in, right? So you got that time, for at least 4 weeks anyway, where it's kind of like, what do we talk about? So I'm so happy. I mean, there's so many, good publications out there and all the talk about the Giants, write good old kind of articles and stuff. I mean, I come up with my own thing, subject here and there and whatnot, but it's nice, to get all input from all these other great writers out there and all and everything. So, I mean, and I seen this one and I'm like, oh, geez, man, we just don't seem to get any kind of love here. I mean, Eli gets snubbed for a second time, but that's okay. He's got himself 2 Super Bowl rings. So it is what it is. But there was a article out here that put that the top 25 quarterbacks. I think I don't read the article by as quarterback ratings as the top 25 in the 21st century, right? So we're not talking about John Elway or Roger Staubach or Joe Montana or nobody like that. So it's all strictly in the 21st century. And there's a few guys who have been or were Giants, newsflash, have been or are ding, 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 Giants who are on this list. And Tommy Chicken Cutler Parmesan is not one of them. But, I mean, it's just the thing is, it's as I read this, some of this crap, I just shake my head. I mean, it's like, did they actually take into account the teams and the coaches and all that stuff that these quarterbacks are around? Let's see. Let's read, shall we? Okay. So, poor Eli. Eli Manning snubbed in the NFL Century ranking as 3 Giant quarterbacks make the list. Former or current, ding, 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 Giant quarterbacks make this list. Eli Manning, what's up, good boy? Eli Manning is one of the most impactful quarterbacks of the 21st century. Yep. Winning 2 Super Bowls with the Giants, but he's not among the best in terms of cumulative quarterback grade, according to Pro Football Network. The NFL analyst site published a top 25 quarterback ranking since the start of the 21st century, but it was strictly determined by their PFSN QB plus metrics. I mean, somebody's did these metrics and all of this stuff and everything. It's like, It is what it is. You make of it what you want. Okay. Rather than opinion or collaborative discussion. So basically, they got these metrics and all of that, and they plug these numbers in, and Eli Manning was not on the list, the top 25. QB Plus is a formula that assigns a score and letter grade to each quarterback's individual performance. Pro Football Network explaining during a brief introduction, the metric blends stats like success rates when pressured, third down conversion rate, and pocket production. The added wrinkle, quantifying clutch. We use timeliness-based stats to account for score and situation. And of course, Eli Manning did not want to make in the list. Of course, his brother did, bringing home number one, the number one spot. 3 current and/or former Giants were on the list. Apparently, that added clutch. That clutch factor didn't help. Clutch factor, like maybe a Super Bowl. That's not clutch now. That's not worth some points now. Yeah. Like you got one drive left to go in the game, and if you don't score a touchdown, you lose the Super Bowl. No, that's not kind of clutch now. Yeah. Okay. Three current and former Giant quarterbacks are on this list. However, and one was an absolute head scratcher, as Kurt Warner, Russell Wilson, and are you kidding me? Jameis and Winston, ranked 18th, 21st, and 24th, respectively. I mean, Jameis and Winston made this list. Eli Manning did not. Are you kidding me? And there's another guy on here. I'm like, there's a couple guys. I'm like, Wilson has certainly earned a spot as placed on this list after several elite years in Seattle, including 2 Super Bowl appearances and 1 title. Warner, a member of the Pro Football Hall of Fame, also deserves his honor, although it is somewhat ironic that his brief Giants career was immediately cut short by Eli Manning. The absolute slap in the face is that Jameis Winston, a career backup and first-round bust, is on this list over Manning. I mean, you're kidding me. And that's not meant to disrespect Jameson. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And what he's become, it's just a glaring error in this formula. It's not just Manning, by the way. Winston made this top 25 list over a long list of more accomplished quarterbacks, and that clear and obvious outlier should point out that there's something wrong with the current grading system. You got that right. I mean, Giants quarterback accolades and rivals on Pro Football Network's 21st century quarterback rating. They got these numbers. Just along with the Giants' ties, there were a few bitter rivals. Tony Romo, Dak Prescott are 8th and 13th, respectively, and Jalen Hurts. I mean, see, the thing, to me is an absolute joke is when Jalen Hurts was on a bad team, they were bad. Well, I mean, if he's on this absolutely unbelievable quarterback, they should have gone to the Super Bowl with a bad team. I mean, he's so unbelievable, right? No, it's like, well, I guess, if you surround the guy with the best offensive line in football, 2 number 1 wide receivers, the best back in football, the guy's pretty good. It's like, get out of here. I mean, this is just, it really is absolutely unbelievable. All right, so we got the top 25. Okay, number 1 is Peyton Manning. I ain't going to argue with that. I mean, like how these guys are ranked and all that stuff. Yeah. I mean, most of these guys, I can't argue. Number 2, obviously, some dude by the name of Patrick Mahomes, right? Number 3, Brock Purdy. It's like, are you kidding me? Are you seriously kidding me? Put the guy on a bad team. Let's see what he does. I mean, Drew Brees is number 4. I mean, yeah. Once again, the way they got these metrics or whatever they are, to me, it's absolutely ridiculous. Number 5 is Josh Allen. Tom Brady is number 6. Aaron Rodgers is number 7. Tony Romo is number 8. So I guess also it's like, the fact that you don't go to a Super Bowl, I guess doesn't hurt you, I guess, at all. Or, I guess. Yeah. You don't win any playoff games, doesn't hurt you, because I don't think the Cowboys won a playoff game with Tony Romo. Doesn't hurt them at all. Yeah. I mean, no, you go to the big show, the game gets big and you lose. That doesn't hurt you. No, well, yeah. It's sometimes it really is. It's like they're just putting people come up with their own formulas and metrics and all of that, and it's like, who cares? Okay, number 9, we got Lamar Jackson. Can't argue with that. Lamar's the man, right? Dante Culpepper. But once again, sometimes you put Chris Carter and Randy Moss on your team. Yeah, you're gonna be pretty good. Put him on a crappy team. How well is he gonna do? So, Jalen Hurts, number 11. Get the out of here. Get the out of here. Put the guy on a bad team and get the. It's unbelievable. Jimmy Garoppolo, number 12. Dak Prescott's number 13. Philip Rivers, number 14. Rich Gannon. My God. And he was the NFL MVP in 2002, I think it was. That was the year they went to the Super Bowl. Yeah, but once again, he had 2 Hall of Famer wide receivers. He's thrown it to Brown and Jerry Rice. So, and of course, they should have been, but possibly should have gone to another Super Bowl. But if it wasn't for the FUC rule that allowed the Patriots to get in there, that was a fumble. I don't care what. I don't give a rat's rear end. That's a fumble. Raiders recovered the ball. 1st and 10, Raiders ball the other way. That's an absolute to me. I mean, to me, not to anybody else or whatever. Certainly another Patriot fan, but to me, that's a fumble. Raiders ball. 1st and 10 the other way. No, get out of here. Rich Gannon. Ben Roethlisberger, can't argue with that. Matty Ice, okay. Kurt Warner. Right. But once again, you also look at a lot of these guys, and it's kind of like, well, Kurt Warner, he had some. Yeah, he threw to Larry Fitzgerald, and he had the greatest show on turf. Marshall Faulk behind him. It's like, why don't we take away, some of the impact these really good players that he had around them, right? And then put some of those metrics in there and stuff like that. I mean, Joe Burrow, once again, same thing with Joe Burrow. He's got Chase out there. He's got Higgins out there. Put him on a crappy team. Let's see, what does he do? Jeff Garcia. Now, to be fair with Jeff Garcia, right? I mean, now of course, Jeff Garcia beat the Giants. He was trying to beat them in 2007 when he was with Tampa Bay. It would have been the 3rd team he would have beaten the Giants, right? Because he was in that 2002 game where the Giants were up 842-3 against the 49ers, and the Giants managed to lose that game. Garcia was the quarterback there. Then he was the quarterback for the Eagles, right? When the Eagles beat the Giants, right? 2006, I think it was, right? Because then in 2007, Garcia was with Tampa Bay, and that's when the Giants went into Tampa Bay, right? And in the I guess divisional or playoff or whatever it was, because we went right, because we beat Tampa Bay and we beat the Cowboys and then we beat the Packers. So that was, I guess, the divisional round, or it was a wild card game, whatever it was. But Garcia was the quarterback at Tampa Bay. Now, if he had beaten the Giants that time in 2007, I think he would have been the first quarterback in NFL history to beat the same team 3 times when he was on 3 different teams. But at least the Giants stopped that streak. But so, I mean, Garcia, took 3 different teams to playoffs. Now, not so much. It's in 2000, what was it, 6, when he was with the Eagles. The Eagles had a good team. But Donovan McNabb was injured, I'm pretty sure. So, I mean, it wasn't like Garcia was like the starter all year long or whatever. You know what I mean? But, said he took the 49ers to the playoffs. He took the Eagles to the playoffs. He took Tampa Bay to play. So Russell Wilson, can't argue there. He went to 2 Super Bowls. Trent Green. All right. Trent Green, sample size isn't as large as most other retired quarterbacks on this list. He made 113 starts and he finished 56 and 57, having missed nearly 2 full seasons early on. And he was the guy, I believe, that was injured, that got injured, that allowed Kurt Warner to take his place. And as they say, the rest is history. Green finished his 11-year career with 28,475 passing yards, 162 touchdowns, 114 interceptions. Outside of a league-leading 5.5% touchdown rate in 2002, he didn't top any major statistical category, unless you count leading the NFL in picks in 2004. I mean, it's like how many Super Bowls this guy? I mean, I don't know. It's like Trent Green, Justin Herbert, okay. Jameson Winston, number 24. I mean, yeah. Jameson Winston makes this list, and Eli Manning doesn't. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, there's 30 interceptions led the NFL. Now, Eli whipped up some interceptions as well too. But I mean, I don't know. And then finally, they have a tie for 25th: Tua Tagovailoa and Andrew Luck. Now, Andrew Luck, was unfortunately he left us too soon. Left the game too soon. He'd still be quarterbacking if he didn't get totally annihilated with hits and everything like that. It was just a shame. And going out after a while, it just, I mean, there's playing football. There's wanting to play football, and then there's getting injured and coming back from injuries, and it just, sometimes it just takes the fun out of it. So I can understand that. But Tua Tagovailoa, put him on a crappy team, with crappy wide receivers, and what's he do? So, Eli got snubbed apparently. Of course, it's some stupid metrics that somebody came up with, but I mean, it's like, so doesn't mean a hill of beans to me. I'm sure it doesn't mean a hill of beans to Eli Manning. So just another bunch of metrics that came out, and just another thing goes to show you, Eli Manning, New York Giants don't get any love. But this right here, this would be just a kick right in the keister, right square in the corners. Right. Oh my goodness! Could you imagine this? Daniel Jones winds up being the comeback player of the year. Well, of course, now there's all kinds of what would you say? Like OTAs and stuff. Of course, Shedeur Sanders and OTAs. Apparently, he's like the greatest quarterback of all time. You see some articles. He completed 9 out of 10. He had 3 touchdown passes and no interceptions. Not one particular where there's no contact allowed. He completed 9 out of 10 passes, and he's the greatest quarterback of all. But you've seen some stuff too with Daniel Jones spinning the ball at the Colts camp. Looking pretty good. Look like he might be getting ready to win the next 15 Super Bowls in a row. But so there's an article here talking about possibly having Eli Manning's replacement, right? Daniel Jones maybe is the comeback player of the year. I mean, wouldn't that just be a slap right in the face? 1 year after you let Xavier McKinney go, and he has 352 interceptions. Saquon Barkley rushes for 74,000 yards and wins a Super Bowl. And then the next year you let Daniel Jones go, and he winds up becoming the comeback player of the year. Wouldn't that be a slap in the face, huh? So, ex-New York Giants quarterback predicted to win comeback player of the year. Now, I don't know who that predicted it. Former Giants quarterback Daniel Jones trying to make a comeback with the Colts this season. Former New York Giants quarterback Daniel Jones was understandably disappointed that his time with Big Blue didn't go the way he or the team hoped. After receiving his release last November from the Giants when he was midway through a 4-year, $160 million extension he signed, Jones finished out the season with the Vikings. This past offseason, rather than return to the Vikings, who have J.J. McCarthy on the roster, Jones signed a 1-year deal with the Colts, where he is hoping to beat out incumbent Anthony, I need to tap out because I'm tired, Richardson. I've never seen that before in my life. Quarterback tapping out because they're tired. Wow. Oh, my goodness. And he wants to become their franchise arm. He wasn't meant to be in New York. Jones might be in a great spot with the Colts, where he is NFL.com writer Jeffrey Chad IHOP, Mr. IHOP, where he's Jeffrey IHOP's early choice for NFL Comeback Player of the Year. Whoever Jeffrey IHOP is, I have no idea. There's every reason to believe Jones can win that battle because Richardson, since arriving in Indy as the 4th overall pick in 2023, has been wildly inconsistent throughout his career and even lost his job for a couple of games last season. Jones knows a few things about that path. The former number 6 overall pick was benched and eventually dumped by the Giants last year, but there's reason to be optimistic about him today. Now, Jones gets to work with a creative offensive mind, head coach, and Shane Steichen. Well, Brian Dable's kind of creative himself, too. And he couldn't cut the mustard with Mr. Dable. So Shane Steichen, who happens to be the same man who helped take Jalen Hurts from raw talent to MVP caliber quarterback in Philadelphia with the best offensive line in football, 2 number 1 wide receivers, and now he's got Saquon Barkley back here. Yeah, a lot of quarterbacks would be pretty good then. Yeah. Meanwhile, Daniel Jones, with a crappy offensive line, at the time he had no number 1 wide receivers, and he did have Saquon Barkley, who got injured a lot, right? So, already Jones appears to be the favorite to wrestle the job away from Richardson, who was sidelined for most of the spring with an AC joint issue. Jones stands to max out at $17.7 million on his contract if he hits all the incentives in this deal. Now, the one nice thing, too, is that the Giants, was it like 27? Oh, go Balls are in the house. What's up, Joe? Now, the Giants, I think it's like $27 million the Giants have in like dead cap money, 27, 28 million, something like that. But thankfully, that's all going to be pretty much gone after this season because obviously Daniel Jones is a large chunk of that. And let's see here. What the am I doing? Darren, I don't want to block Waller. What am I doing? What am I doing on the field? What's going on here? I'm blocking? Are you kidding me? What the am I doing here? I got to retire. Okay, bye-bye. We'll see you. So between those two guys, right, that's where like all that money, dead money is. So, after this season's over with, when the books are cleared, whatever, Daniel Jones, write him off. Darren Waller, Mr. What am I doing here? Write him off too. So their contracts will be no mas. Can Jones resuscitate his career in Indy? Well, there's no reason not to wish Jones the best as he looks to reestablish himself as a starting quarterback. The odds of him winning the Comeback Player of the Year award might not be as good as that writer believes. For one, Jones has struggled throughout his career to stay healthy, which he needs to do even to be considered for the award. But the bigger question is, if Steichen can succeed where the Giants head coach Brian Daboll did not when it comes to Jones in terms of fixing accuracy issues, particularly on his deep ball, repairing the quarterback's internal clock when under pressure, and perhaps most important of all things, fixing Jones' post-snap processing speed. And making sure he doesn't stare down his receiver, or we can go on and on and on. Or when it's I think when it's a trick play and Jones is in the pocket and he's being protected, and there's two guys running wide open down the field, and you stand in there and you see two guys wide open down the field, and it was a trick play. You don't hold the ball for half an hour so that the guy comes and sacks you. Yeah, stuff like that. You need to fix stuff like that. Now, it wasn't like one guy. I don't remember who the receivers were. I think it was like two guys open on the trick play. I mean, and Daboll was like, I can't say he was pulling his hair out because he didn't have any hair. He was like losing his mind. You can see him like at the top of this. He was like losing his mind. It's like, dude, what are you doing? I mean, again, no one is wishing ill to Jones, who during his time with the Giants was nothing but professional. You got to give him that. You got to give him that. He was very Eli-esque as far as, being his professionalism. He was always the first one in, pretty much the last one out, right? I just wish he when they asked him questions, like when he was at his press conference or whatever. I wish I don't know. That's just me. I'm a moron. I don't know what. He always started. Daniel, do you stink? I think he always whatever. I don't know why. Somebody told him I always say yeah at first. When he answers a question, first thing you do as soon as they ask you a question, first thing you do is say yeah, and then just continue on. While no one should him out of anything, the first step is for him to win the Colts starting job and show that he has finally addressed the things that held him back with the Giants. Well, good luck there. I mean, I certainly don't wish the guy, no ill will and not like that, but he's got some issues. So if he can resuscitate, well, let's see. I mean, the Texans, if they're the way they were the past couple of years, they could be tough, but I mean, it's not a unbelievably tough division. So maybe they might win some games. I mean, I just can't say. I mean, I couldn't say. I was just unbelievable when Richardson's like, gets up and he's like, "Go, man, I got to get a breather. I'm tired." Oh man! Once again, there you go. In the Giants get no love category. Giants receivers are ranked in the bottom third. Yeah, I could see that. You know why? Because we got one dog, but we don't got our second dog. And if we didn't have our one dog, the Giants would be ranked out of 32 teams. They'd be ranked 75th. Because, I mean, could you imagine if we didn't have neighbors? If we had Hyatt, Slayton, and Robinson, they'd have Holy Cross College ranked above the Giants in this list. So, Giants are ranked in the bottom third, and even with neighbors out there. So, we need another dog. We certainly could, no question. Giants ranked in the bottom third of the NFL as far as the receivers. Giants did little to change their wide receiver room this offseason. Yep. Largely returning the same unit from a year ago. Now, as I said, that's always just one of those weird things. It's like, because you usually look was when the team is like 3-14. Usually it's like, well, I mean, we had some injuries. Right? We had a quarterback change and all that stuff. And a lot of times, when you 3-14, it's like, we suck. We need to make some changes. We need to change, Not the Giants. They got the same tight end back from last year, a bunch of the same tight ends, right? Same wide receivers, same offensive line, except for Marcus Bowe. If he wins a spot, maybe Evan Neal might get in there, but we had Evan Neal last year. We got the same, probably two of our same starting running backs. This Motor Singletary would be there. probably, unless we cut them to save some money. Got Tyrone Tracy Jr., but we do have obviously quarterbacks. But I mean, we got the same coach, same offensive. Kafka's still there. Maybe calling the plays this year, but kept pretty much everybody the same. Joe Shane signed Darius Slayton and Emir Smith-Marset while adding little, not too little, but little Jordan Humphrey and several undrafted free agents. Brought in a lot of undrafted free agents. That was the extent of the work done. So I mean, you're gonna have your favorites who you might think or whatever like that, who might want to making the final 53 for the wide receivers. But I mean, I said, you got Neighbors, you got Robinson, Slayton, and probably Hyatt, right? You got maybe Amir Smith-Marset because of his return skills and all. But it's kind of like after that, it's kind of like got a lot of guys. We have crap quarterback. Yeah, Slayton typically does 700. Yep. Our wide receivers are much better than these. I'll tell you what, man, I'm dying to see. I hope Hyatt can break out. I mean, Wilson's saying the right things and all that. Wilson's always, Wilson seems to be talking good about it, but also Hyatt's getting a lot of, sorry, buddy. Hyatt's getting a lot of, obviously a lot of good reps early on because, Mr. Neighbors is nursing his toe. Similarly, the tight end and running back rooms will look similar, obviously, except for Mr. Fedoni and Cam Scatterbo, who were taken in the draft. All told, Pro Football Focus remains unimpressed, ranking the Giants receivers in the bottom third of the NFL at number 24 overall. Giants' passing attack isn't just Malik Neighbors, but he represents the biggest piece of the pie. Neighbors earned a 87.1 PFF receiving grade as a rookie, despite a terrible quarterback situation. He was the only Giants receiver to earn a single season receiving grade higher than a 65. Tyrone Tracy Jr., Theo Johnson, Wandale Robinson, Darius Slayton, and Jalen Hyatt make up the same group from 2024, which posted a 29th ranked 67.1 PFF receiving grade. The lack of receiver production largely stems from inconsistent quarterback play. That's one area Shane and the Giants did address, and consequently so, signing veterans Russell Wilson and Jameson Winston before selecting Jackson Dart in the first round of this past April's draft. Better quarterback play will yield more productive receiver play, you hope, even if the roster remains largely unchanged at those positions. Now, also, hopefully, right, especially, going to help too if we can get the offensive line healthy. That would be nice. Second-year rookies added that this moron should be banned from writing about the Giants. Let me see on here. No. Oh, there we go. Who is this? Oh, Giants Wire. Okay, Sports Wire. Who the heck wrote this here? Well, some of it says Giants Wire, but the one I'm reading right here is from Yahoo Sports. So, all right. Oh, and this one here. Now, this is one of those things. You can, you kind of hoping, right, that it'd be interesting to see what they decide to do. Hopefully, maybe before the season's over, right? Yeah, PFF. Yeah. But I'm trying to think of it. Because part of the article is from like Giants Wire, and then part of it says it's like from Yahoo Sports. So I don't know who's writing the article up. The good old PFF, they usually don't show much love to us New York Giants. But now, are we going to get, after the season's over with, or maybe before the season's over with, or whatever, maybe re-sign any of these guys? McFadden, Flat, Belton, right? Because these are the guys in the fourth year, right? Make or break. Not make or break for them. We kind of know, right? Belton, Guy's always around the ball. It comes is the amount of snaps he gets. I mean, I think it was his first snap ever. He recovered the kickoff, the fumble, and the kick on a kickoff. Right. It's going to be interesting to see like how we wind up took it from Giants. Oh, okay. It was talking about FBF. I was making it. Oh, okay. Yeah, Yahoo. But it's going to be interesting to see what McFadden what winds up happening to him, because if they, obviously you got to get Carter on the field. Does he want to get like off ball linebacker, as they say, or whatever you want to call him, middle linebacker, or whatever? Because you can pretty much figure Karake, hopefully he's healthy, right? It's going to be on there. How many snaps does this wind up taking away from McFadden? Going to be interesting. So this here from MSN, Micah McFadden named New York Giants most important contract extension candidate. Because you figure, right? I mean, like on a defense, right? We got a Debo, got him for 3 years. We got Phillips in the slot, got him for another 3 years. We got Banks, we got him for another couple of years, especially if we pick up his 5th-year option, if they do that. But then you look in the secondary, right? We got Newman for another 3 years. We signed Holland for 3 years. We got Bernsey for another 3 years. We just picked up Kayvon's 5th-year option. We got Sexy for another couple of years. We just drafted Alexander. We just signed Golston. We just brought in Carter. We got a Karake for, I think, another 2 years. We got guys for, I'm not saying we got all these guys for another 8 years, but, a large portion of this defense is going to be around for another 2 or 3 years, So, but Mr. McFadden, nope. And same thing with Belton, but Belton obviously, is, not going to be a starter. If they ever put in, packages for 3 safeties, Belton will probably be in there. So we got Giants have had a busy offseason trying to put last year's 3-14 season behind them. While several moves made this offseason have featured a handful of new players arriving in East Rutherford, Russell Wilson, Jameson Winston, Dart, Abdul Carter, there are a handful of returning players who will be relied on. Absolutely. Among those players is linebacker Micah McFadden, who enters the final year of his rookie contract going into the 2025 season. I mean, the amount of snaps that this guy's played, and what we're paying this guy, I'm not saying he's a Hall of Famer. Not saying we got Dick Butkus running around out there, not like that, but, for the amount of snaps he's been playing for us, I mean, where are we at here? So I'm going to pop it up here. I got to find. Let's see here. Nope. Yep. There we go. All right. There he is. There's Mr. Micah the Neck McFadden. So you figure, right? 2022, he was in 435 snaps, but, all right. 2023, 736 snaps. 2024, 668 snaps. Got a lot of snaps. We're getting a lot of miles out of him. That's for sure. Now his first year wasn't super spectacular. I know. He also had, especially his second year. I know he had a big issue with his missed tackle percentage. It was 20 in his second year. He missed 20. According to PFF, that's all it says. Missed 25 tackles. 20.7. Now it came down last year, 13.7. He only missed 16 tackles. But, also here, I mean, you look, I mean, it's 668 snaps. So we've got 1,800 snaps out of the guy. We're paying the dude peanuts. Now in 2023, graded out 65.6. Last year, 62.8. Once again, is he an all-pro? No. But, he's had he certainly had some good games. Now, once again, be interesting to say with the Giants, right? Are they going to, draft the guy, try to develop the guy, and retain the guy? Are they going to do that? Though McFadden is set to be a free agent after the upcoming season, the Giants are urged to sign him to a contract extension. By Mo Moten of Bleacher Report, he says McFadden has become one of the league's most promising young linebackers, registering 267 tackles, 26 for loss, 6 sacks, 6 pass breakups, and an interception. Giants should be intrigued by his development and potential to be a long-term starter. Bobby Okereke, 28, has been a solid pickup from 2 years ago, but McFadden is the present and future at linebacker, and he's going into the final year of his deal. McFadden, a fifth-round pick in the 2022 draft out of Indiana, has been a starter over the last 2 seasons with the Giants, even after Shane Bowen took over as the defensive coordinator in 2024. McFadden continued to produce at a high rate. Over his last 30 games, with 28 starts, since the start of the 2023 season, McFadden has recorded 208 tackles, 123 solo, 4 sacks, 6 passes defense, 12 quarterback hits. In that same span, he's allowed a passer rating, though, of 101.4 on 78 targets. So Giants don't have a ton of salary cap space to work with going into training camp, but a deal to lock up a starter for the foreseeable future could still be a possibility before the 2025 season ends. Absolutely. So once again, now all these guys, right? Snaps will go down. Oh yeah, that's going to be interesting to say, right? How much, because Carter, I guess maybe putting them all over the place, putting them on the edge, off ball, heck, I don't know. Yeah, they can pretty go much anywhere. But it'd be interesting to see how many snaps get taken away from McFadden, right, because of Carter. But all 3 of these guys, right, all got drafted by Shane and Dable, right? Are they gonna try to, resign these guys? Obviously, you don't got to be rocket scientists to figure out that all 3 are on the defensive side of the ball. Going to be interesting to see. Also read an article too, just briefly, talking about maybe Flott and Mr. Banks maybe battling it out for a cornerback number 2 position. I'm interested to see if Flott can actually stay healthy or not. Because the guy's so small, man, he's so thin. But interesting to see if the Giants will ever wind up re-signing any of those guys in the offseason. Because the nice thing about that is that it's not going to the Giants will have some money next year. Not a ton, but they'll have some money. Then they can certainly re-sign these guys. But, there's none of these guys that's going to take a boatload of salary cap space off the Giants. So if worst comes to worst, you re-sign all 3 of these guys, you get three guys been with the team for a while. 2 of them be good, possibly some good depth. And, Mike, will get some starting role, starting snaps. But of course, have to wait and see how much Mr. Carter takes away from him. So, because you got to get Carter on the field. That's a no-brainer. That's up to Bowen to figure that out, though. You got to get Carter on the field. All right. Then I saw, God rest his soul, right? Even Madden football. I think in the article I read, shows the Giants no love. Shocking. I think correctly. I think in the article, the Giants, according to the team grade, they're the worst. They have the worst team grade. in all of Madden. All of Madden. Where are we at here? Oh, okay, here we go. All right. Madden NFL 26 rankings. Here is where the Giants rank. Well, it's not very good, I can tell you that much. Giants fans who want to buy the Madden NFL 26 video game already know that they'll have to see their old pal Saquads on the cover. Well, I won't be buying it, that's for sure. And now they're also faced with the reality that the Giants at this early juncture had the game's lowest team rating, 75, which is 1 point lower than the Cardinals. So I guess the Cardinals are 31, and they're ranked. Their team rating is at 76, and the Giants are at 75. The Chiefs and 49ers share the top spot, as both have a 92 rating. Oddly, the Jets are tied with the defending Super Bowl champion Eagles. How's that? Huh? The Jets are tied with the defending Super Bowl champion Eagles. They both have an 86 team rating. The Jets. Okay. They're tied with the Eagles. Okay. The top 10 looks like this. You got the Chiefs, the 49ers, the Ravens, the Dolphins, the Cowboys. The Cowboys. Lions, Bengals, Browns. I don't understand this. So the top 10 team grades they got in Madden. They got the Jets, the Browns, the Cowboys up there. The Giants are coming off a 3-14 debacle of a season in 2024, so it's no surprise that they're in the NFL's lowest rated team right now, at least in terms of the Madden rating. Anyway, just Madden, but right. Giants tied with the Titans and Browns for the NFL's worst record in 2024, but they weren't able to draft quarterback Cam Ward, even though they tried to trade up for him because they lost their strength of schedule tiebreaker to the Titans, who took Ward at number 1. Giants picked edge rusher Abdul Carter at number 3 later in round 1. Yep. As for the Madden NFL 26 game itself, it will be released August 14th, about 3 weeks after the Giants report to training camp on July 22nd. Now, also, right, no love for the Giants from Madden, and here's where Giants coach Brian Daboll ranks among NFL coaches. Hint, it's not very high. Giants coach Brian Daboll is on the hot seat. There's no doubt about that. He's led the Giants to a worse record in each of his first 3 seasons, which included a 3-14 dud last season. But his seat, the hottest among the coaches across the league. While according to Pro Football Network's latest ranking of NFL coaches, yes. So apparently, according to them, his latest ranking of NFL coach, he is the hottest seat of all the quarterbacks. In a recent story from PFN's Brandon Austin, Daboll ranked dead last among returning head coaches entering the 2025 season. He writes, Brian Daboll's head coaching tenure with the Giants has been a tale of diminishing returns. Following an impressive 9-7-1 debut in 2022, which included a playoff win, expectations skyrocketed. But since then, Daboll has gone 9-25 over the past 2 seasons. New York's offense is ranked in the bottom 3 in scoring in each of the last 2 seasons, and the defense ranked 31st in PFSN's Defense Plus metric. Whatever that is, I have no idea. Though Daboll's tenure with the Giants hasn't been long, it's beginning to seem like his brief early success was more of an outlier than the foundation for something special. Considering how the Giants have regressed across the board, it is a bit surprising that Daboll made it through another offseason unscathed. We've seen other coaches get canned for less. Oh, yeah, yep. However, the front office appears to be holding on to hopes that he can find the magic again. It's fair to question whether or not Daboll should return to a coordinator role, where he thrived in Buffalo. Daboll is banking on the Giants' newest additions on defense and revamped quarterback room, led by Russell Wilson and Jackson Dart, to save his job this year. Unfortunately for him and the general manager, Joe Schoen, the Giants are set to face the toughest schedule in the league in 2025. You got that right. So once again, between the coaching and Madden, ain't no love whatsoever for the New York Football Giants. Obviously you can certainly see that. especially with Dable, I mean, because, had a very good first year, right? Very, very good first year, right? 9-7-1, but that is it. Went down since then. But obviously, the coaches, since Dable is, all the way at the bottom, and of course, Andy Reid is at the top. Sean McVay is number 2. John Harbaugh is number 3. Nick Sirianni, I ain't a Nick Sirianni fan. Give the guy a bad team and let's see what the guy does. Right? Take all your players and actually pay them instead of putting 900 void years on the end of their contracts. And that way you wouldn't be able to afford a lot of your players. And then let's see what you got, right? So, and also Nick Sirianni's, also the beneficiary of some very good drafting, right? So he's been given basically like pretty much the best team in football, right? And so, he's a great coach. Not to me, he's not. Put him on the Giants, right? Give him the Giants team from last year, right? Give him the Giants quarterback situation. We've had 395 different offensive line configurations, right? We got 1-star wide receiver, right? And all the injuries, all that stuff. And let's see what Nick Sirianni could do with the Giants from last year. So, I'm not a Nick Sirianni. Absolutely not. If you take a pilot SHI blank and you bring it to the Super Bowl, I'm impressed. If you take the best team in football and you take them to the Super Bowl, I'm not impressed at all. Not at all. Let's see what we got here. Dan Campbell, number 5. He's got his work cut out for him this year, right? Losing his coordinators and all and everything. So we'll have to wait and see what Dan can do. But Kyle Shanahan, yep. Good pick there, number 6. Mike Tomlin, yep, can't argue with that. All the guy does is have winning seasons. About 552 winning seasons in a row for Mike Tomlin. Jim Harbaugh, yeah. Matt LaFleur, yeah. Because he's done well with Aaron Rodgers and now with Love, right? 2 different quarterbacks. So Sean Payton. And the thing, because obviously with Sean Payton, right, he had Drew Brees all those years, right? But what he did last season with the Broncos, pretty damn good. So I got to give him some credit there. Sean McDermott of the Bills, Kevin O'Connell with the Vikings, Dan Quinn with the Commanders, what he did with the Commanders last year, taking them to the championship game. Todd Bowles, Buccaneers, DeMarco Ryans, yeah, that's a good one there. But yeah, let's see. All the way down here. Let's see here. Where are we at here? Brian Dable is number 25 because he's the 25th coach because all the other ones are like Matt Carroll, Pete Carroll is new. That's a lot of these guys are new with their coach, with their like Ben Johnson with the Bears. What else we got here? Brian Schottenheimer with the Cowboys, Liam Cohen with the Cohen with the Jaguars, Pete Carroll with the Raiders, Vrabel with the Patriots, Kellen Moore with the Saints, and Aaron Glenn with the Jets. So as far as returning coaches, right, they got Dable is the worst. So needless to say, yeah, he's on the hot seat. All right, and next, now one thing you can always look back and what coulda, shoulda, woulda, and all that stuff and everything. But one thing you always got to we always got to respect Mr. Saquon, right? Got a real class act guy and all that stuff. A great teammate, great, just a model, for somebody you're proud to have on your team and all that stuff and everything. To let the guy go. Now, the only thing I can kind of, in a small way, pat Shane on the back for is that, that's the way he's thinking. We're not building a team around the running back. Okay. So if that's what you think. Okay. But is that, now whether we're taking just the fact that, you know, take away the fact what he did with the Eagles last year. Once again, he was not what he did with the Eagles is never going to do with the Giants last year. Right. But I mean, you just take the thing is that, he was your best player, best offensive weapon. You need weapons. It's not like, back in the day, you get 3 yards in a cloud of dust, and you run the ball down the field, and you got a good wide receiver or something like I mean, you need weapons nowadays. I mean, of course, you need good to have weapons back in the day too, right? But it's sometimes back in the day, you had a really good running game that could really get you far. And we had a good defense that could get you far. But nowadays you need weapons, right? The Giants had a weapon, and they let him go. And then they got Malik Neighbors, right? But if they would have kept Saquon and drafted Malik Neighbors, then they have 2 weapons, right? And then if they can get themselves a 3rd weapon, now we're talking, right? And the other thing is that, just what Saquon meant for the team, and model, teammate and all that stuff and everything. And he's a running back. It's not like he was a wide receiver and he wants $40 million a year. He's your best offensive weapon. He's a running back, and you couldn't come up with $15 million. I mean, there's not on the Giants, but out in the league, I think there's guards that make more money than Saquon does. I mean, we really can't find, So, but I mean, that's the one thing I just kind of but he's helping out the Giants. There's a lot of guys though. I mean, a lot of, it's not like there was, whatever, 50, 60 years ago where guys from other teams don't talk to each other and stuff like that. I mean, it's a lot of it's there's a bond between a lot of these players. I mean, that's why you have a lot of these players from different teams working out with one another. Right? As I said, once again, if you go back, the 70s, whatever, way back, you're not going to have team players from different teams going out and working out for the most part together and stuff like that. But, times have changed. But Saquon Barkley showing some love to the New York Giants in a unique way, or showing some value, as they say here. Giants no longer have Saquon Barkley on the roster, but the team's former running back could still be helpful to his old organization this summer. Since it's time of the year where players are free to work on their games with whoever, Barkley, I love it. You're trying to read an article, all of a sudden an ad pops up on the words you're trying to read. Barkley recently showed his followers that he's been on the field with current Giants running back Tyrone Tracy. Ta-da! Right? The former 5th-round pick has seemingly been getting a chance to learn from one of the best running backs in the game. Absolutely. You got that right, brother. Since 2015, Barkley has been one of the most notable running backs in the game of football. Coming out of Whitehall High School in Pennsylvania, Barkley was staying in his home state to suit up for the Penn State Nittany Lions. The former 4-star recruit rushed for over 1,000 yards in each of his 3 seasons at Penn State when he wrapped up his NCAA career. Barkley had 3,843 yards, 43 touchdowns on the ground. In the air, he caught 102 passes for 1,195 yards and 8 touchdowns. In the return game, he fielded 18 kicks for 500 yards and a couple of touchdowns. Let's see here. Tracy entered the Giants' backfield as a 5th-round pick out of Purdue last season. The rookie appeared in 17 games and picked up 192 carries, average of 4.4 yards per carry. Tracy finished the season with 839 yards. He reached the end zone 5 times on the ground and scored 1 through the air. The second-year running back wasn't selected to be a Barkley replacement on his own. While he could be first in line to lead carries on Sundays next season, New York still has Devin Singletary in the mix, along with rookie Cam Scatterbo. Either way, the young veteran has surrounded himself with great company as Barkley is coming off one of the most dominant rushing seasons the NFL has ever seen. Oh yeah, and if he played in that final game of the season, I mean, he would have probably ran for about 3,500 yards alone against the Giants in that game. But this is on X. They got a couple pictures here. Tyrone Tracy Jr. and former New York Giants running back Saquon Barkley have been seen working out together. There's a couple pictures of them, working out. You see Saquon's and Tyrone Tracy. There's also a couple guys also in the background as well too. So I mean, that's the one nice thing is that the guys hanging out together. Working out with, guys from different teams and all that and everything. So I'm sure anything that Tyrone Tracy Jr. winds up learning from Saquon is going to be extremely valuable. Yeah. Giants with a blueprint on how to be relative. Now, one of the things, before I start, reading this, it's kind of brought back some kind of memories of yesteryear, right? The first Super Bowl year. The Giants, Giants had a good defense. And I don't know if because when they lost their game to the Bears in the playoffs, they lost 21-0. Right? Because then it was 21-0. And then the following week the Bears won 24-0. They beat the Rams. But the thing is that the Giants in that playoff game in '85, they lost to the Bears 21-0. Now 21-0. So when they go into the draft the following season, they had a first-round pick. They had 4 second-round picks, and then had a third-round pick. So in the first 3 rounds, they had 6 picks. Now, when you go up against a really good defense and you score no points, one more time for the hearing impaired, no points, and you got 6 picks in the first 3 rounds, don't you think you might want to maybe try to help the offense a little bit? No. Yeah, we're going to take all defense. I don't know. I guess maybe he thought maybe Parcell or maybe Young. I guess he was the one, right? Young was the one drafted. I guess maybe he thought maybe next time they faced the Bears, maybe they faced them in the playoffs in '86, which didn't happen. Maybe there would be a 0-0 shutout, and maybe they'd have to go to maybe shooting baskets or something. I don't know. But the first 6 picks he took in the 1986 draft were all defense, so the defense got even a little bit better, right? But so meaning like the Giants in the past, having good defenses, right? Giants had a good defense last year, and what they did, they wound up making it even a little bit better this year, right? They had a real good pass rush last year. For whatever it was, halfway through the season or so, I think we led the NFL. We were up to like 35 sacks or whatever it was after 7 games or whatever it was, 8 games or whatever it was. I think we were leading the league, and of course that tallied off. That tailed off, toward the end. But you take something when you got it good and you make it really, really good. Like with the Giants, kind of like in '85, they had a pretty good defense, right? They had Banks, right? You had Carson, you had some guy by the name of LT, right? Leonard Marshall, Jim Burt, George Martin, right? And they made the defense even better, right? So the kind of like the blueprint here, what they're talking about in this article, right? Giants have found the blueprint that finally makes them relevant. New York could be lethal in this department in 2025. And I think we all know where we're coming from here, right? What we're all talking about. Giants are in a tough spot as a franchise right now. It appears that they might have a lame duck general manager and a head coach who is undoubtedly on the hot seat. They finished a distant 4th in the NFC East during the 2024 season, and it doesn't appear they are close to contending in one of the toughest divisions in the league. And yet, there's still a lot of optimism coming out of the offseason for the Giants. They signed Russell Wilson, Jackson Dart. While it's unclear how much of or how little Dart will play during his rookie season, the fact that he's on the roster gives the Giants fans some hope that he could be the guy moving forward. But that's not the only reason why the Giants are excited about their upcoming season. They have one of the league's best young receivers in Malik Neighbors and several intriguing pieces on offense. However, it's the potential of the defense that has the fans pumped up about the upcoming season. In a recent article by Dan Dugan of The Athletic, he wrote about the biggest observation he had during the offseason workouts for the Giants. And his take is that it's become increasingly apparent that the Giants could have a dominant pass rush this season. Here's a snippet of his thoughts on the unit coming out of the practices. And he wrote, this pass rush could be a game changer. The Giants have lacked an identity during the first 3 years of the Joe Schoen and Brian Daboll era, which is true. It's true. But the selection of outside linebacker Abdul Carter could be a game changer. Teaming Carter with Dexter Lawrence, Brian Burns, and Kayvon Thibodeau should give the Giants pass rush capable of dominating games. The sky's the limit for the Giants pass rush unit in 2025. On any one play, the Giants can roll out 4 first-round picks on the defensive line, kind of like with the Washington team. Whatever, it's the Washington football team, the Washington Commanders, the Washington Redskins, the WTFs, the WFTs, the Washington, whatever you want to call them. Of course, they had those 4 first-round picks on their defensive line, too. But on any one play, the Giants can roll out 4 first-round picks on the defensive line, all of whom are 27 years of age or younger. Not bad. Lawrence might be the best defensive tackle in the league, and the Giants are hopeful that Carter can have a similar impact as another fellow Nittany Lion, Micah Parsons. Those 4 players alone will qualify as one of the league's best defensive lines, but the Giants have some incredible depth on the unit. Chauncey Golston, who's a free agent signing from Dallas, is coming off the best season of his career. Darius Alexander was a 3rd-round pick by the Giants this year and projects as a disruptive pass rusher right away at the defensive tackle. Then you got Nacho, gives the Giants another big-body defensive lineman who can help out on early downs, although I'm not overly thrilled over the moon with Nacho. But then we brought in some other defensive linemen as well, too, right? Ledbetter, right? Giants have had a lot of success as a franchise by building up the defensive line and stopping elite offenses. They'll have to do that in the NFC East if they want to have success, but they certainly have the talent to do so moving forward. The offense can be functional this year and keep them in the games. It should allow them to show off their elite pass rush even more. Time will tell how this season turns out for the Giants, but the fact that they finally have an identity for the first time during the Brian Daboll era is excellent news for the franchise. Expect the Giants to be near the league leaders in sacks this year, especially if Carter can have a significant impact right away. Now, one of the things, like in the past, the Giants, I've always tried, a lot of times I've always had a really good defense, obviously, right? And you just think about what this defense could do right here. Then you figure if like in next year, right, in the draft, if we can add somebody else, I don't know, right? Add a linebacker, add another defensive tackle, beef up, get that deep, man, could you imagine if Alexander turns out to be the real deal? Really pretty good. We got Dexter Lawrence. We got Golston. Add another deep. We got like 3 different edge rushers between Carter, Kayvon, and Burnsy. Add another, maybe a line off-ball linebacker, another defensive tackle, or somebody, a real good guy in the secondary. Wow! Especially if you figure if Banks isn't wind up being, doesn't wind up being all we thought he possibly could. We're hoping he could be, right? Add somebody else in the second. Imagine, if this defense is really good, and then the next season, right, you add another, maybe a good depth piece or so, or we sign a couple like Belton or Flott, right? But in the draft, you draft somebody early on, add to this, then a lot of teams would be like, basically, right? It was like 2022, right? We went to the playoffs. What were we? Were we explosive? Were we great? Were we unbelievable on defense? Were we there? Where were we, right? won a lot of close games, and we kept it at the bat. Daniel Jones ran the ball a lot. Saquon, ran the ball a lot and all that. But do we really have an unbelievable identity around that? No. But what they're talking about in this article, right? The Giants finally for the first time, right? It's like, the Giants might lose, but I tell you what, that defense is holy. You know what I mean? So finally, for the first time, Giants might have an identity, right? And I said that the way it was back in the 80s, I was a lot of times it was all where are we at there? I was like almost kind of like annoyed, right? Where the offense was on the field. Almost kind of annoyed because I want to see the defense on the field. When you're growing up in the 80s and you got Harry Cars and Leonard Marshall, you got some sacks, George Martin, you got Burt, you got Banks, you got Tammy. You want the defense on the field. I'm like, man, I want the offense on. I don't care. We score some points. Who cares? Let's get the defense on the field. Let's see what they can do. You know what I mean? So, there were a lot of times back in the 80s I wanted the defense on the field. I want to see what's the defense going to do. Smack some people around, right? So finally, it would be nice to get finally for the Giants to get an identity, right? And then finally, I seen this now. I see stuff for Rookie of the Year or Defensive Rookie of the Year or whatever like that. But the accolades keep kind of rolling out there for Mr. Carter, right? Abdul Carter named to the prestigious preseason rookie list. Abdul Carter is among a select group of rookies who could be the most impactful in 2025. And obviously, I've seen a lot of them with Mr. Carter here, right? That he could be, one of the leading candidates, shall we say, for Defensive Rookie of the Year. Right? So, obviously, it does help when you keep picking early all the time. But obviously, Malik Neighbors was one of those players that, had a chance of being the Offensive Rookie of the Year last year. Right? It's often one of the oldest realities of football at the NFL level that just because a player was selected high in their class in the first round of the draft, it doesn't always mean that prospect will be among the most impactful names on the gridiron in their first season with the big boys. Something just feels different in that regard with the New York Giants' number 3 overall pick and rookie edge rusher Abdul Carter. Penn State product spent months before the draft hearing his name bounced around as arguably the most coveted player to walk the stage, and all a result of his awe-inspiring rise as an elite pass rusher during his senior season at the school. One of the teams that made the most sense for his new home in the pros, the Giants were right up there, thanks to how it seemed that they were establishing an identity for their franchise in 2025. Obviously, their offense was going to be revamped to display more consistency through the air, but it was the defensive front that, like at other recent stretches of their history, was going to be their calling card. Carter, who produced the nation's third best 12 sacks and 52 total pressures last season, will join a slew of key returning pieces along the Giants' defensive line that together could create one of the most daunting pass rushing units in the entire league, which is something they haven't had in well over a decade. Right? We got to go back to those last Super Bowls, Super Bowl 42, 46, right? With the inherent problem that Carter and company are expected to unfurl on their opponents, the novice edge rusher was among a small party of players nominated to the NFL.com's 2025 All-Rookie Team, a list recognizing the game's newcomers that are destined to leave a substantial impact for their squads in year one. But in the analysis, writer Gennaro Felice, I guess, raises the all-important question that remains to be seen with Carter, and that's his ultimate role within the defensive huddle come week one. Widely considered the best defensive player in this draft class, Carter is unsurprisingly the favorite for Defensive Rookie of the Year. His explosiveness off the edge jumps off the screen. Brian Parents and Kayvon Thibodeau in place at the incumbent outside linebacker. What's the plan for the number 3 overall pick? While Carter's position tag reads outside linebacker, the Giants will not limit his reps to secondary duties or whenever Burns or Kayvon need a breather from the action. They better get his butt on the field, that's for sure. As a result of their experience in the system, the 2 veteran edge rushers can get the nod from defensive coordinator Shane Bowen for the starting outside roles come September. But Carter will not just linger on the sidelines during those reps. The team will look to utilize his versatility as much as possible, which will likely include seeing some work from an interior position. Carter built up a resume rushing the passer from both spots during his time at Penn State, logging 626 snaps from outside of the tackle and an even heftier 897 snaps from inside the box, where he played most of his reps in 2022 and 2023. He had 2 games this year with double-digit snaps from the inside, and those contests marked some of his highest-graded pass rushing stat lines. We can see situations where Bowen elects to run Carter alongside Dexter Lawrence on the line of scrimmage to create a unique blend of size and speed, throwing chaos at the offensive line and the quarterback, who must decide which threat to contend with in the pocket. You got that right. With how much space Lawrence takes up with his frame, it could lead to one-on-one matchups where Carter often has the edge and could feast as he looks to build an impressive rookie resume. The Giants wanted Carr in their ranks because he gives them the ability to be extremely creative with their pass rush and blitzes, making it more likely for them to win the mental battle that ensues. As Bowen once said, it's a good problem to have when an organization has a bevy of sack artists who can put heat on the other side and force them into some game-changing mistakes. I mean, a quick pass, a bad pass or something like that, right? I mean, get an interception. We only had 5 interceptions last year. Given how high of a pick he was for them, there's a little reason to doubt that they won't feature him some this season. And hopefully Carter adds to more than just the sack column as he looks to join the exclusive company of the greatest edge threats in Giants history. Now there's a 2025 NFL All-Rookie team for basically like defense, the All-Rookie team. You got Abdul Carter, then they got Donovan, guy from the edge rusher from the Cowboys, taken round 2. Mason Graham, obviously, who taken by the Browns, the defensive tackle. Derek Harmon, defensive tackle, taken by the Steelers. Schlesinger, Cleveland Browns linebacker. Demetrius Knight Jr., Bengals a linebacker. Will Johnson, a cornerback from the Cardinals. Trey Amos for the Commanders. Barron, nickelback for the Broncos. Maliki Starks, safety for the Ravens. And Xavier Watts, safety for the Falcons. And they got some guys on special teams. The Giants are everybody on special teams now. So it's a right? Projecting 14 instant impact newcomers on defense and special teams. So Abdul Carter was picked on there, and obviously, hopefully, he should be hopefully if he can stay healthy and he can do his thing out there. Hopefully, he'll be the defensive player of the year, and that'd be fantastic. I mean, there's Bowen's got his work cut out for him. Yeah, I mean, he's got to find a way to get these guys all on the field, right? Especially if everybody's healthy. Because if you start losing guys, like say Kayvon gets injured, well then there's a good chance Carter's going to take Kayvon's spot, right? But I mean, if everybody's healthy, Bowen's got his work cut out for him. A lot of pressure on Bowen, right? Because I mean, if you got this talent and you can't, get something special out of him. You know, it might be time to say bye-bye to Mr. Bowen. So he's under a lot of pressure as well, too. All right, guys, it's been 1 hour and 20 minutes. Whoever, Drew, as always, brother, good talking to you, pal. Thanks for hanging in with me. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So once again, hour and 20 minutes. Whoever spent any time listening to me live, thank you, thank you, thank you. If anybody's going to spend any time watching the replay this, once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me. As always, you guys stay safe out there and go Giants! Woo! Oh, yeah.